How are you today? Alright, so we're back with a little bit of an update on the whole red dress run transphobic post controversy. And then, there's a couple of updates there. And then I also wanted to discuss, so previously I had discussed the origins of red dress run and its ties uh, by what are they fucking called? The Hash House Harriers. Um, I didn't say the word college. No, I think I said what are they called? Um, but anyway, so those people they put on Red Dress Run. We're gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk. So last live stream we had also talked about their origin story from Malaysia, from colonialism there. So today we're also going to discuss colonialism's ties to income disparity, disparity in general, discrimination, oppression, um, and why I don't really believe that people excusing the concept of, well, it's for charity is like why it's okay for them to not have taken accountability on this. And I don't really believe that they have so far at this point. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna roll my intro and let's get into it. Hi, my name is Lexi, also known as and doing business as Deaf Child. In 2022, my company was listed as number 14 Best Louisiana Events Companies and Startups. I have been doing business as Deaf Child since 2013. I have my Bachelor of Science in Music Industry Studies and Business Administration, and deafness runs in my family genetically. Speech is not fully accessible to me. And I've got about 50 certifications in marketing and sales that you can find at noladeafchild.com. So as you may know from our previous live stream, we are gathered here today because, well, there was what I believe a transphobic post on the New Orleans Dress Run page that was shared there. And you can see my last live stream for more information about that. But for those of you who can't see the post, it's posted, it's an original post by William Dan Clark, and it says, these are the folks who want you to believe that J.D. Vance is weird. And then it says weird, and it shows what would lead you to believe trans people, and then it shows not weird, and it shows a man and what looks to be potentially a cis man and a cis woman. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm not misgendering them. And two kids. And it was reposted by Red Dress Run, New Orleans Red Dress Run, that with a comment that just said "yeah." And so in my last live stream, we covered my opinion on this. We covered the general community response to public perception of this, the split response in the community so far on all of this. We also covered what has New Orleans Red Dress Run's response been so far at the time of that live stream. And I think I did that probably around 3-ish p.m. CT today. I'm on Central Time, New Orleans time. And it's about 5 hours later-ish now, maybe more like 4 hours later. Um, and so we had gone through all of the comments earlier, but I had decided to see if there were any updates. And whenever I got down to some of the newer names, I think some people are basically saying it's no longer a fundraising event, but I don't know. One person said the page is back up. One person shows a statement from the board of directors. We're going to go over all of this. So there's been some updates. Someone's commented with the traditional songs. One comment that I wanted to highlight. Here it is, right here. There it is. Okay, I didn't click. So this comment, if you click, this one person had commented, check out the mismanagement. And so before we had previously looked where I had called out the fact that they were calling their one of their positions, Cops Lives Matter, felt racist and misogynistic to me. It felt like it could be dismissive of Black Lives Matter, and it felt like it could be dismissive of police brutality in general. It felt like it could be dismissive also against the fact that 40% of partners associated with police are reported to have um, experienced domestic abuse. And let me pull up a source on that right now. One of the things that I found is about admitting it is true that in the 90s there were two studies that cited, according to Snopes, 40% as the police officers who admitted domestic abuse in their family. Um, but one study included abuse perpetuated by officers' spouses, and one study, but then if yours, and one study could have been interpreted in multiple ways, and so then they say it's actually 28%, but still, there's like still like a very high percentage. Um, it just never sat right with me for a number of reasons. So fucking, um, whoa. So that's something that we had discussed in the previous live stream. Well, fucking, one thing I didn't notice that this one commenter outlined here, it says she comes up with sufficiently plausible lies to cover any serious questions of propriety of actions within the hash. And this was published at 8:40 a.m., I believe, possibly today. This is the comment. The screenshot is from 8:40 a.m., but the comment was made today, 4 hours ago. Yeah. So let that marinate on what that original wording there was. And then that statement from the Red Dress Run Board of Directors. They had said, a former member of the Red Dress Run Board of Directors inadvertently posted a personal message on the event's Facebook page. The posting in no way reflects the attitudes or opinions of the leadership of this organization. We denounce any and all inflammatory statements or actions against the LGBTQ plus community. We fully support advancing social justice by advocating equality for all. We are also a solely volunteer-managed organization that has not and will not engage in policy or political advocacy of any kind. We regret the insensitive post that appeared on the Red Dress Run social media platform. It was removed as quickly as possible, and the former board member who made the post is no longer associated with our organization. Our event is a social gathering meant to bring people of all walks of life together to raise money for those in need. We have raised over $2 million for worthy causes. August 10th is our 30th anniversary run, and we look forward to another successful celebration that will contribute significantly to uniting our community. And when we look at the previous photos we've seen from the past news coverage, I don't really believe that they truly welcome people of all walks of life, because it's a predominantly white space due to the roots of colonialism and upholding oppression such as this. And they're saying we don't advocate um we're not going to engage in policy or political advocacy of any kind, then while also saying we advocate for equality for all. So, how are you fully supporting advancing social justice by advocating equality for all if you will not engage in policy or political advocacy of any kind? That's what I want to know. This is why I say they are hypocritical, and I don't feel like they are straightforward. I feel like they're just like, yeah, shut the fuck up and come give us your money, is kind of their attitude. And they're saying they regret the post, but they still won't discuss who did it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why are you covering it up then? If you regret the post, and if they're no longer associated with you, why not let us know who that was? Or why act like you didn't know? You know what I'm saying? And y'all can go back to that previous live stream where they tried to basically say that they didn't know how the post got published, but it was not on purpose or something like that, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was their original like response to it. And I just feel like because if they had that because their story just keeps changing because every time someone's like, nah, this is what's wrong with that, and so then their story kind of changes. But it's not they, you know what I'm saying? They just be like, oh well, then an entirely new, different scenario, you know, in my opinion. Um, one commenter was saying that the New Orleans group is something else. Overall, the Hash House Harriers aren't as gross as the New Orleans group. I wonder if they have to answer to anyone higher up. Well, the origins of it are kind of formed in colonialism, so if they're not doing some advocacy work and recognition of the roots of white supremacy and how the origins of it from the British invasion of Malaysia and all of that, all kind of come together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and how it all stems from colonialism with the expansion of it over here. I feel like the reason that New Orleans is quote unquote as bad as it is because this is their playground. And that's the culture perpetuated within the organization, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, so one commenter was pointing out, oh, you know what? I forgot to mention, I apologize. Before we get to the traditional songs here, I also wanted to point out they completely changed their website. Now, in the first live stream we did on this, we looked at this page. We scrolled through it and I was looking at why I felt some of the titles here were problematic before. And I was discussing why I felt there was an air of kind of degrading women and potential discrimination in the titles and the verbiage. So if you want to go see the original wording that was there, um, yeah, the sufficiently supply the she comes up with sufficiently plausible lies is still here to cover up any serious questions. That's still on here. That's so fucked up. So if you want to come read this, like that, I don't think that's funny. Um, Particularly when you call mismanagement and misconduct, and then you're telling people to lie. I feels to me that they're admitting that they're unethical, in my opinion, and that they're just gonna say whatever the fuck they need to say, you know, to kind of make themselves feel better or whatever. In my opinion, that's like my take on how I feel from the words that I'm hearing. So let's look at the original words. So they took off the super like everything that was on the right was even more it's what's the right word? Profane is a good word to describe it. Profane. And I love like dirty talking for real. Like I do but there's a time and place, and some of the wording here is very like dead cell cops wives matter cavity search. Never sat right with me. The cat. I don't know. And yeah, hold on. We're just gonna replay on a, a bit of this, but on two speed, and we're just gonna look up. So the original name was Grandmaster Came Upon Me Penis Colada. Now it just says Grandmaster, and after the colon is gone. Colon is gone. Then it said on sec bent overboard. The bent overboard is currently gone. It said religious advisor dead cell cops wives matter cavity search. Now that is gone. And then we're going to watch a little bit of this, and then we're going to compare when we scroll down, and I'm going to pause it and compare it. Yeah. And I think I'm going to watch it on 2 times speed. Talk about themselves is just like the community that covered up my rape, and they're also the organizers behind the people who are trying to now cover up transphobia. So I do see it as all connected with how we normalize behaviors in our society as a community and how we uphold toxicity in culture, such as rape culture, discrimination, oppression. That's how it all connects to me. Now, I do think I can have a very dirty sense of humor. Like, for example, I say a lot of filler words, and I will say the words "bet fucking" a lot, and I won't be trying to be, but it'll be like, I say bet a lot, I'll say fucking a lot, and I'll say bet fucking, and then I get entertained because I just said bet fucking, right? So I like, so I can be a little immature, like, it's like, bitch, you're 30 years old, stop being entertained by butt fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can kind of get that on one level, but at the same time, it's just like when you're stressed, everybody needs just like little bits of like ways to kind of let off steam, relax, entertain ourselves. So, I can understand having fun with joking about sexuality. It can be fun. However, I would just like to reflect on um, some of the wording here I find a little problematic potentially. For example, they say religious advisor dead cell cops wives matter cavity search. Oh shit, I was not, I forgot to unmute. I had forgotten to fucking set up my screen to watch the video without me there, my bad. Okay. Um, and then I forgot to unmute, so that's totally my bad. But whatever, I'm gonna just, add a timestamp to skip this part if y'all would like. Fucking, I still never added timestamps in the first version of this, but whatever. We're not gonna watch this much of it. I just want to compare the titles real quick. Um, So the two other ones where it said hair razor, it said commuter previously. And now that's gone. And then I think this word is said haberdasher. I don't know how to say the word right. I apologize. Haberdasher. It used to say pick of the litter, cock-a-leaky, dogs over dicks. And that's gone now as well. It just says haberdasher. If I'm not mistaken. I'm a refresh. Yeah, I believe. We viewed a page source. I wonder if it'll tell me when the last date published was. Hmm. Nope. Doesn't give me a date here. Copyright is 2024. Hmm. Yeah. Nope. That's unfortunate. Sometimes this will tell you right here. Find spec. Do I get a date? I thought I knew how to find it here, but I fucking forgot. Shit. Life is hard. Why do I have Living La Vida Loca stuck in my head right now? Is there a way for me to see? It's just, when was it published? Anyway, I'll have to look into this shit another time. So obviously I don't know what the fuck I'm doing there. But alright, let's go look at, real quick. Let's see what other fucking shit is here. 40% of spouses of police report abuse, domestic abuse, and domestic violence. 40%. To me, this just feels like it could potentially be making light of Black Lives Matter, as well as police brutality. It's just, to me, making fun of police brutality. It's making fun of Black Lives Matter, and it's making fun of police brutality upholding abuse against their partners. My opinion. I don't see what's fucking funny about this shit. And so no wonder someone felt comfortable to make that post on that page when this is the type of shit that the people that promote them, the New Orleans Hash House Harriers club, are promoting. Are y'all really okay with this? Because I'm not. And I know I can't speak for other communities that I'm not part of. And I apologize if I'm overstepping. I do not intend to do so. That doesn't negate the impact of that harm if that is what I'm doing, though. Yeah, all right. I'm about to skip because I talk way too much here. But, you know, you can go watch if you want to see the original thing. But the next thing they say Beermeister, and it says, it used to say, yank my doodle dandy, spotted dick, I'd pork her. And now that's gone. Um, and that's one of the other ones that I felt like, you know, like contributed to this air of potential misogyny. You know, so I hope that this is an opportunity too for people to correct me also in that regard. But in that regard, I will only be accepting commentary from people who say I really struggle with. I want to acknowledge right in the correct. And then it said hash cash wiener breath lefty Lucy bend over rover. And now that's gone. It just says hash cash. I think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I saw changes in the descriptions at this time. Um, but I noticed the fuck out of that because when I saw this comment, where is it? Right here, I clicked and I was like, what the fuck? Because I had previously, I was like, they totally took words off of here because I had previously done this live stream where we read this all. I knew there was additional wording in these titles and that's no longer there. Um, and they took that down. And then an additional comment that I had wanted to review real quick was the Hash Hymnal. It's saying that the hash songs are bawdy, crude, always meant to be funny, and never taken seriously. And then it says it's not meant for everyone. However, if you're easily offended, it's best to move on to something else. And for me, I just find that's, you know, speaks to upholding a culture of discrimination. Because if you find discrimination or something being offensive funny, that's you laughing about oppression. You know what I'm saying? That's you laughing about being harmful. And I've discussed like the difference between a coping mechanism and a defense mechanism before, but considering this is a predominantly white audience, you know, not a lot of the people here are considered more in powers of control. And considering they're doing this for charity, that means they see others as less fortunate, in my opinion. So that means, in my opinion, they themselves, you know, are more of an oppressor class. So that's where, like, you need to know what type of environment you're getting into, in my opinion, based on what is upheld. And I feel like I would have to do more um, education to kind of understand a lot of the meaning behind these songs. But I feel like it kind of uphold like colonial nationalism. You know, they're talking like one song mentions a Mexican beer, and Mexican is also just as much as a colonial nationalist state as quote unquote America. And you know what I mean? Like they were just colonized by Spain. We were predominantly colonized by like Britain, a little bit of Spain and French too, but I'm generalizing here. Um, then there's one called Dumbass, so we don't have to go into the ableism there. Um, and then it says fuck you for being the hair, but the one I don't get about this one is fucking so from my understanding, and you can go check my previous live stream on this, from the Wikipedia page we found, the people running are the hares, right? So are you saying fuck you for running with us? Like, it just feels like a lot of aggression for people who you're theoretically supposed to be building community with. And I never feel safe with people who want to joke that level aggressive with me. There's a certain level you could fuck with friends, and I think it's in good friends. But the moment feelings get hurt and there is offense, then it's no longer funny. And if it still is to you and your response is, well, get out of here, or you're just not funny, you just don't have humor, blah, 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 to me, you're finding humor in the pain of others, particularly when it's you don't experience the issues that you are oppressing others for, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, fucking, it kind of speaks to more of like give it a blow, and a lot of the sexualization, it's kind of, in my opinion, seems to lean more towards male gratitude and male pleasure than general sexual pleasure. In my opinion, more of like a cis male talking about having, blowing dicks and pleasing dicks a lot. It seems to be very centered on a dick. Um, and then there's one, it says it gets lost in her twat, but it's all that he's got. I feel like that touches on misogyny too. Um, just give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. We're gonna take a quick break. What I'm gonna do is play you guys, make you listen to some of my fucking demos. I will be right back.
Do you ever feel like your life's not real? As if you're not you, just a cloud floating through. Do you ever think you might be on the brink, standing on a cliff, carried by the next drill? A song is gonna come your way, a tune or two that you can play. A light's gonna shine your way, an hour or two will let you stay. Pray, pray, pray. Do you ever love someone who's not enough, who makes you feel less, doesn't wish you the best? Do you ever say what's not meant to be, and just think the stars, you're not behind those bars? A song is gonna come your way, a tune or two that you can play. happy boiler bites, no house nights, no radical rights. Just me and the songs where I belong, where nothing goes wrong. And here I am in all this mess. Here I am drowning in your stress. Mindless, careless, hopeless. In this corrupt room, all those people live. And so small, they're so tall, they merge into a brick wall. Warm me, feel free. Please set me free. I know you'll leave me, baby, you always go. You think I'm stupid, hey, I know, no. A lonely heartbeat in me, a bottle of wine left out there. You can leave me, baby, oh please do. You don't say me, but I say you. You can leave me, baby, oh please do. Go the fuck away, I'll get over you. I know
Sorry about that. Just realized I forgot to unmute myself. I am back. I believe where we left off was I was going over the lyrics for their hymns. Hymn? Is that how you say that? And just kind of discussing that. And so yeah, they're just singing about the concept that someone should be peed on and publicly shot, tied to a urinal, left to foster and rot. Um, when it comes to very specific people, like who may be so fucked up, they've done these types of things to other people, I could perhaps understand feeling a certain type of way about a very specific individual. But when I'm around people who kind of uphold this type of ideology for generalizing people with, I don't feel safe, and I don't understand how others think it's just hilarious to laugh about the idea of these things happening, particularly when these things do kind of happen around the world, you know what I mean? I find it inhumane, and I find it kind of desensitizing to the atrocities of colonialism. Um, I don't know. But then they have Twinkle Twinkle Little Hasher, can you suck a little faster? Down upon my meat so slow, like a well about to blow. So that's where I go back to where it very much seems to be about the gratification of the penis and the pleasure of the penis. And it doesn't seem to be much about anybody else's pleasure. Um, and yeah. And then it's just another one called You're Stupid, You're Stupid, You're Really Fucking Dumb. If it wasn't for your mother, you'd be a stain of cum. I just, I find these kind of concepts ableist too. And I don't understand how people are like, yeah, but we're edgy and we're funny to use ableist, like, when I know I catch myself using harmful shit and probably also do a lot and don't even catch it because of how fucked up I am. But this is me admitting I think I'm fucked up for that. I don't want to be that way. I know I am, but I'm trying to work on it. But this is why I feel like society isn't changing. Look at this. And this is how I think we all got here. Look at what it's like when this is what you're raised up in. You know what I mean? Oh my god, this one is even worse, and it's very misogynistic, and it slut shames and degrades sex workers, which I feel is fucked up. There's obviously a supply for that because there is a demand for it. You know what the fuck I'm saying? Um, and it's saying I was walking down Canal Street and knocked on every door. Goddamn son of a bitch, I couldn't find a whore. I finally found a whore. She was tall and thin. Goddamn son of a bitch, I couldn't get it in. I finally got it in. I moved it all about. Goddamn son of a bitch, I couldn't get it out. I finally got it out. It was covered all in sores. Goddamn son of a bitch, don't fucking Orleans whores. I just find it degrading. I find it slut shaming. I find it making light of medical conditions. I don't understand why the concept of STDs are funny, why the concept of putting down a woman who is, or what I'm assuming is a woman, but because yeah, and then talking about, I just don't think this is fucking any funny at all. And then they use the word motherfucker in here too. And fucking I'm trying to not use that word. So all of it just kind of shows there's like not a level of decolonizing here. And for me, it's like if your humor doesn't come with decolonizing, I don't want it. I don't feel safe around it. It's not like you can't use it's funny to uphold colonialism. Like that just you know what I'm saying? Like nah. Um yeah, and then they go into the El Camino. Um, but this one, I feel like is a pretty. I'm going to cover that one because I hear a lot of different versions of that. I've heard versions of that since middle school and high school. If I'm familiar, if I remember correctly, I feel that one's pretty common. They have another one about the idea of gangbang and someone wanting a gangbang. And then like I don't like the way that they and at the end, you're saying someone pried her legs apart at the gangbang. Consent, if there's consent, you don't have to pry someone's legs apart. You know what I'm saying? So, earlier, when I was saying something about the way they were wording their concept of consent was really bugging me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Well, we come back here. Hmm. You know what I'm saying? But they claim to be all about consent, but why do you need to pry someone's legs apart? Um, they say they know consent changes at any time, but it just, I don't like the way they speak on women's body parts, saying he smells like fish at the gangbang. I don't like this. I don't like any of this shit. And I'm not reading it all because it just like it. It's like I enjoy sex, and this is making me feel annoyed. And it's like, why are you making me annoyed at the concept of sex? This is something I should enjoy, and you're putting me in a place where I don't feel comfortable to enjoy myself because of all of the discrimination. And I don't understand how anyone would feel comfortable to enjoy themselves once if they're aware of this. You know, I understand how some people they just go to get fucked up and wear a red dress. They're not paying attention to shit. But look at this. It says Jesus can't go hashing because a Jew won't pay $5. Am I allowed to call that some Nazi ass shit? Am I allowed to call that Nazi ass shit? That's some Nazi ass shit. Um, yeah. I am not gonna keep reading all of these. I am scrolling through because just in case it gets taken down. Uh, then I might. Then I don't know. Then you could kind of pause and see some of this. Perhaps maybe it's not going through. But then, oh my God! And this one's about your mom. This is just middle school humor. It's just middle. This disturbs me. It's disrespectful. It's degrading. It's disrespectful to women. And for me, it perpetuates and normalizes rape culture. It normalizes violence against women and the sexualization and degrading of women. I don't like it. Um, I don't understand how it's meant to be funny. And if you think this shit is funny, stay the fuck away from me, please. Thank you. God damn. That shit is disturbing. Y'all actually read that shit? Holy fuck. I couldn't even keep that shit up for long. I'm sorry. It's like I can't even. Ugh. Yeah. Okay, let me make sure I covered everything here. Okay. Ooh. One more thing before I get into my sources here on tying this all together with the disparity and why I don't feel like, because I'm so sick of everyone being like, oh, it's a charity, so excuse the transphobia, we're a charity. It's all rooted from colonialism. This is all from, so the origin of this event started with the colonialization of Malaysia, and it spread through the colonies of the British Empire because that it was began by British people. And that's how it began getting distributed into the United States. And from there, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been distributed among the white people, it's upheld colonialism because it began through colonialism. Um, So they put up their website again. All they did was put their post up back up, so they're not taking accountability. Because this is where they're being hypocritical. They say they support advancing social justice by advocating equality for all, while also saying that they will not engage in policy or political advocacy of any kind. They are hypocritical. They are not being transparent In my opinion, they just want their events to go well. They just want you to keep giving them money. I don't think they care about um, income disparity because they began through colonialism. So the charities that they're helping, the charities that they're donating money to, they are why the problems exist that the charities allegedly solve. You know what I'm saying? Like colonialism. Let's think. Like, and then when white people want to be like, well, those are my ancestors, not us. No, if you are still upholding colonialism, it's you too. Your ancestors started it and you're continuing it. You know what the fuck I mean? And I'm mixed descent, and that is why I believe that. I am also European. Yes, I am. This is fact. Um, well, of European descent. I'm obviously not from Europe. I'm fucking from the colonial institution of America. Um, but y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm obviously not, you know what I mean. Fucking. Alright, so they aren't naming the person. They also limited comments on all of their posts. Well, so this for me just shows that they're really just trying to cover things up. Um, and again, when you scroll through their Facebook page, you'll notice, like I've been stating, it's a predominantly white space. Um, they limited comments, and in my opinion, they're really trying to just sweep everything under the rug and act like it's not a big deal what happened. And the fact that they're like trying to act like it's not a big deal is part of what bugs me so much, and the way that they handled it. And I might need to do some further processing and kind of create a timeline to be more objective in my reporting of that, because I know I would come off a little emotional, like fuck these bitches. But you know what I mean? I think you can kind of understand why I feel a bit passionate given the context of the subject. So, just to recap on the updates here, the two biggest updates from this live stream that are why I'm following up to begin with are they did at this time restate their Facebook page. I think they may keep it up as long as they can keep their comments shut down, but you can still share. Let's see if you're allowed to tag them. Um, to tag them, you need to NOLA red dress. And yeah, it looks like you can still tag them. So you can share their posts and you can tag them. So that's how you can get your commentary to them in that way. I don't think that they're going to change based on how they are formed and uphold colonialism as an institution. And based on the response, what I think I will do, like if I do one more live stream on this, I might do like try to put together a timeline of the responses if I can. Or at least if I can't get a timeline together of when they actually posted, I'll at least do a timeline of when I received specific information. So I may not be able to do a timeline on what they did when they did it, but I'll at least be able to do a timeline on how I found out. Um, and hopefully that will connect some dots there. But yeah, fucking so in regards to income inequality and colonialism, and if I need to let me double check real quick and just see, did I link in the description these sources yet? Yes, I did. Okay. So linked in the description of this video are all the sources here that we are checking out right now. Um, So one of them being income inequality and colonialism. And of course, you know, you can go click that link to read the whole article. But I want to talk about the abstract. And the abstract of this paper, it says, this paper proposes that colonialism is a major explanation behind today's differences in income inequality across countries. We argue that income inequality has been higher in the colonies where the percentage of European settlers to total population was higher, as long as Europeans remained a minority. These countries where Europeans became the majority of the population did not suffer from high inequality. These initial differences continue to hold today. The empirical evidence you provide strongly supports our thesis. I'm kind of, didn't get this one. So, let's read their conclusion real quick. Oh, no. Okay, I don't have access to this. Let's look at the conclusions. Okay, it's got the section snippets. We're just going to read the section. No, let's just read the conclusions. Our paper's main point is that colonial history is a major explanatory factor behind today's large differences in inequality among the world's countries. We have reviewed the different colonial experiences of the last 5 centuries and have classified them in 3 broad categories. Of these 3, we argue that one clearly produced and sustained highly unequal societies. This high inequality group is the one where colonialism brought into the country an amount of European settlers. And I don't have the rest of that there. So there is this paper has some opinions. Go read it. The full thing isn't available. I did pull this up kind of last minute, so perhaps I should have done a better job on that. But you know what? Check that out yourself. Okay, so we have another blurb here from the European Vox, VOX. I don't know. I don't know what CEPR stands for, but this is also linked in the description, and it's called The Economic Impact of Colonialism. And the blurb at the top here, it says, the immense economic inequality we observe in the world today is the path-dependent outcome of a multitude of historical processes, one of the most important of which has been European colonialism. This column, taken from a recent Bots ebook, discusses how colonialism has shaped modern inequality in several fundamental but heterogeneous ways. And it's basically saying this didn't all happen overnight. And and it's a multitude of historical processes, one of the most important of which has been European colonialism. And I'm just going to come read the conclusion here. It says, finally, it is worth observing that our empirical findings have important implications for alternative theories of comparative development. Some argue that geographical differences are dominant in explaining long-run patterns of development. In contradistinction, we showed that once the role of institutions is accounted for, geographical factors are not correlated with development outcomes. The fact that, for instance, there is a correlation between latitude and geography is not indicative of a causal relationship. It is simply driven by the fact that European colonialism created a pattern of institutions that is correlated with latitude. Once that is controlled for, geographical variables play no causal role. So in my opinion, they're basically saying it's not the fact that we are Europeans that's the problem, it's the institutionalization we uphold, that is. You know what I'm saying? And then they say found no role for the cultural differences measured in several ways. First, the religious composition of different populations. Second, as we've emphasized, the identity of the colonial power. Third, the fraction of the population of a country of European descent. It is true, of course, that the United States and Canada filled up with Europeans, but in our argument, this was an outcome of the fact that they had good institutions. I wouldn't say we have. What do they mean by good institutions? I would say our institutions are harmful. And then they say it's not the numerical dominance of people of European descent today that drives development. I can see what they mean by that though, because um, there's more people of the global majority than there are people of European descent. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these articles, but yeah. These perspectives are out there, they're there, and they're linked in the description for you to just expose yourself to different ideas. I'm not telling you that these are things you should go believe or think, because I don't even know if I what I think of these sources myself. These are just things I want us to reflect on. Or I would like to reflect on. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But yeah, have a couple of more things to look at real quick. One being the intersection of colonialism and trans oppression. Um, and it talks about how Western countries impose rigid ideas of gender and sexuality on indigenous people, ideas that were in conflict with existing cultural norms. And it talks about how Western colonialization is the global phenomenon, with many of the same nations sharing similar histories of white supremacy, violence, erasure, and exploitation. And that this applies to Western colonialization in the United States. Because around 150 people that have been documented, native tribes have been documented to have acknowledged third gender people, um, but European colonizers condemned same-sex marriage with or relationships with third gendered people, calling it sinful. um, so it's all connected, the way it, so the way that red dress run formed is through colonialism. We covered that in the history of it, in my opinion. And so when we look at how also at that same level, the colonialism is where same-sex relationships and um, transphobia was becoming formed here. You know what I mean? It's all connected, in my opinion, with the culture and the society we are upholding. Um, so yeah, and it talks about how the effects of colonialization linger today with direct impacts on people's lives systematically. I think Red Dress Run is an example of that, socially and economically. And this is particularly in relation to indigenous culture. And I think this is an amazing article, and you should also go check that out. It's in the linked in the description. One more that I want to check out to read the abstract of is called Sexuality, Gender, and the Colonial Violence of Humanitarian Intervention. And I really want to speak on this when we talk about how everybody's like, yeah, get over the transphobia. This is for charity. You know what I mean? Let's reflect on that. And this article is, of course, linked in the description. Just the last thing I want to hit on real quick, and then before we go, we'll just check for any updates on Red Dress Run Front, but I think we covered everything. So this abstract says, recent discussions of humanitarian intervention and international relations have often focused on the evolution of norms and the development and contestation of the responsibility to protect framework. While beneficial in tracing this process, most of these studies tend not to incorporate an analysis of colonialism, race, sexuality, or gender. While post-colonial studies of humanitarian intervention have done well to illustrate the relationship between humanitarian intervention and colonial violence, they still tend to neglect the study of sexuality and gender. Exploring how the sexualized, gendered, and racialized dimensions of colonialism can be incorporated into the study of humanitarian intervention, this paper proposes a queer approach. After exploring, oopsie, After exploring the valuable contributions of feminist scholarship, it suggests that the queer approaches of Nicola Pratt, the Queen Boat Case in Egypt, Sexuality, National Security, and State Sovereignty, Review of International Studies, this is a citing source here, Cynthia Weber, Queer International Relations, Sovereign Sexuality, and the Will to Knowledge, New York, Oxford University Press, 2016, and Laura Shepard and Laura, is this pronounced Sjoberg? I'm sorry if that's wrong. Trans Bodies in of Wars, Cis Privilege, and Contemporary Security Strategy. Feminist Review offers some distinct contributions that build upon feminist insights. Applying these to the 2015 House of Commons debate on airstrikes against ISIL, The paper suggests that queer IR can invigorate the study of humanitarian intervention with a framework that unpacks the simultaneously gendered, sexual, and racial dimensions of colonial violence. Okay, IR they mean international relations, so queer international relations. And then they put this in Spanish and in French, I think. Okay, let's look. I think I'm just gonna check out the intro. Ooh, this is pretty long. I might do just the intro and the conclusion. Okay. So, viewing colonialism as a deeply gendered and sexualized process, this paper argues that analysis of humanitarian intervention as an act of colonial violence are incomplete without incorporating feminist and queer thought, aiming to offer a framework within which the gendered, racialized, and sexualized dimensions of humanitarian intervention can be coherently understood. This paper proposes the adoption of a queer approach. Doing so, it draws in particular upon the work of Okay, and then it speaks to Nicola Pratt, Cynthia Weber, and Laura Shepard and Laura Stroberg to make this case. Offering a new perspective on humanitarian intervention, it argues that queer theory is able to unpack the existence of hetero-homonormativity. I don't think I said that right. I apologize. And white supremacy as symbiotic and globally dominant epistemes? Shit, can't say that word. Epistemes? Epistemes? Is that right? Epistemes. This, in turn, enables us to understand how the production, of racialized, sexualized, and gendered identities has facilitated colonial violence from early colonialism to the present day. Okay. And then it says, embarking on this journey, the paper first outlines what might be termed mainstream approaches to humanitarian intervention, which have drawn heavily upon constructivist thought and tend to focus on the evolution of norms surrounding interventionism. While hugely beneficial in understanding the constantly shifting criteria for deploying violence in a way that is understood as legitimate, these approaches do not explicitly historicize these norms within the gendered, sexualized, or racialized worldviews that colonialism has generated. Looking then at approaches that have studied humanitarian intervention as an act of colonialism, the paper notes that they effectively consider interventionism within the frame of colonial violence, but that they tend to neglect gender and sexuality. This is wild that I'm reading this right now because this is really actually applying to me to a totally fucking different scenario. Given that violence, but they tend to neglect gender and sexuality. Oh, my bad, I'm rereading shit. Given that heteropatriarchal norms of gender and sexuality have enabled colonial violence from the civilizing mission to the present day, this is a significant blind spot that the paper attempts to address. In this vein, the paper then turns its attention to feminist studies of humanitarian intervention. Some of these look at the absence of women and their responsibility to protect. Okay, that's RTP framework. Okay, my bad. Shit. And meetings in relation to it, while others look at gendered norms in relation to responsibility to protect and humanitarian intervention more broadly. The latter, it notes, do an excellent job of looking at the operation of gender through humanitarian intervention. These studies are few and far in between, however, and they still tend to neglect the existence of humanitarian intervention as an act of gendered, racialized, and sexualized colonial violence. So, humanitarian intervention, what is that? It's the use of military force or the threat of force or states across borders to stop to allegedly stop or prevent severe human rights violations in another state. The issue is a lot of times our governments will be committing atrocities under the concept of humanitarian intervention when they're actually the problem. For example, Palestine, Congo. You know what I'm saying? I think U.S. is part of the problem with Sudan too. Am I wrong? Um, I'll have to look into that. Yeah. And then it's also defined as a calculated and uninvited breach of sovereignty in the name of humanity. So, yeah, let that marinate. Um, and so all of this, in my opinion, kind of ties back into the connection between colonialism and then transphobia. If you look at charity, some people consider, you know, whether or not charity can kind of be considered a form of humanitarian intervention depending. You know what I mean? Like if you look at it, the if you look at it all the charities we have, they exist. They all must be nonprofit. They all must be regulated by the government. A lot of the quote unquote charities, you know what I'm saying? The nonprofit charity organizations that are profiting off of these things are all upholding the imperialist state. And it's all upholding colonial violence. You know what I'm saying? That you're donating to, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I feel like this is a fascinating article. Let's check out the conclusion. It says, as with other areas of the discipline, the bulk of academic research on humanitarian intervention remains inattentive to sexuality, gender, or race. That being said, the existence of humanitarian intervention as a process that is deeply enmeshed in colonial power relations has been illustrated by post-colonial scholars in recent years. Um, are we really post-colonials if we're still going through it? I feel like in college I took a class called post-colonial literature. And it bugs me because why are we having this academic concept of post-colonialism as if colonialism doesn't still exist? Are we referring to what we consider the era of when it was socially acceptable to um, I guess some people still consider it socially acceptable to colonize more. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, fucking and I'm just gonna read this last bit here. It's that ends with clearly looking at one debate does not demonstrate the relevance of queer theory to the entire study of humanitarian intervention. Similarly, not all queer papers deal equally with gender, race, and sexuality, but queer theory as a broad school of thought does hold the radical potential to deal with humanitarian intervention in a new and radically insightful way. In light of this, I hope that the ideas sketched out in this paper map some possible avenues for future research. Let me skip through here a little bit. It says, and then a few sentences later or so, it says, it is that will enable us to fully make sense of humanitarian intervention as an act of colonial violence. The arguments for and against, which are made by drawing on a range of sexualized, racialized, and gendered stereotypes, and the conduct of which feeds back into and or contests these stereotypes. And I feel like we can go back to the hymns and you can see that, particularly when they're talking about, the way they degrade women and how they refer to penises and particularly small dicks, and things like that. Mm. So, yeah. Fucking, one thing I need to make sure I add, this little, before I forget, I'm just going to go ahead and add in the live stream right now in the description of the video this Snopes article we looked at regarding abuse by police. That's now linked in the description of the video. Okay. And then let's double check on any updates on the red dress run front here. Um, I will see, let's see, did we get any more comments here? I refresh, I think these are the same comments, no more comments here. It looks like we are all caught up here. I think they are trying to sweep this all under the rug. I just refreshed that. Um, so yeah, that they're not letting people comment on there because you know they know what the fuck they did. So yeah. And as we reviewed before, it's very mixed review from the community at large, you know. Some people are full on fuck them bitches, and some people are like, it's okay, it's for charity, and some people are like, get over the transphobia because it's for charity, and some people are even like, I support the transphobia, you know. So you're getting a bit of a mixed response from the community at large here. Um, in my opinion, I don't feel that Red Dress Run is fully taking accountability. Fox covered it, but I don't want to check the comments there because I feel like it's just going to be a bunch of conservative people, in my opinion. Um, oh, hey, look, my business page showed up for this. Okay, cool. Oh, we got comments here. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm about to go. I didn't even see that. I have to go moderate this. Yeah. Oh, okay. Alright. Well, these are still annoying. I'll go delete those, but I thought it was going to be some transphobic bullshit. I honestly would rather have some stupid ass spammers than some transphobic shit on there. So, um, even though that's annoying, I'm not entirely mad at it. Fucking, yeah. And they're trying to organize a blue dress gay bar crawl for the same day. Someone else's. I apologize, not them. My bad. And then, yeah, someone said mistakenly made. Maybe y'all had to share, type, and hit send that. That's not an oops, lol. Right, and I already demonstrated in my previous live stream, in my opinion, why I believe they had to put extra effort to put that on the business page. Like, you really have to have it. For me, I just feel like the chances of you not noticing that you're on the business page when you make that are very small because of how it has to be done. Um, so yeah, I think that's enough on that. Let's check the page here. Are there any updates? Is this still live? It would be really funny if it went down during the live stream. If it was like in less than 1 hour, this has been taken down. That would have been hilarious to me. Okay. So last year they donated over 155,000 to local nonprofits. That's interesting. So this isn't Deutsches Haus isn't a charity. That's a bar, and they kicked the abortion fund from their blood drive. So that's interesting that that's who they donated to, but yet they want to claim they don't do political. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see what you did there. I see. Yeah. Yeah, boy. I remember. So we can look here where they donated to. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. And then they're donating. So they're talking about this. Oh, this is for charity. Mm. Yeah. Um, I'm just gonna go on a limb and say that not all of this, but a lot of this, in my opinion, comes from organizations that, in my opinion, kind of uphold colonialism. My opinion. Uh, yeah. But y'all do you. You do you. You do you. Okay. Alright. That's alright. That's okay. I'm sorry, I've seen Bring It On too much. I really want to finish it now. You're gonna pop my gas one day. Okay, fucking, you know what? That's that. Why do I want to say that though? That is just like now I wanted to finish the thing that was in my head. It was in my head because I was raised being exposed to that type of media. But now when I look at that in hindsight, isn't that like kind of shaming based on income disparity, based on classism, based on jobs? See, this is why I think it matters. Because the normalization of behaviors in society and how we come desensitized to it, I just kind of I liked it better when the whole damn page is down. If you're gonna put your page fucking back up after saying some transphobic shit, leave your comments on so you can get the full community experience. Why are your comments off? You know what I mean? Um, I love that. I love how you turn that off. So yeah, yeah. So just keep in mind, and this is still on their website here. Where are you at? They want you to come, their advisor, come up with sufficiently plausible lies to cover any serious questions of propriety of actions within the hash. Just let that marinate. This is what they promote about themselves. Just, I just want to end on that note. Um, and right here, I'm going to Tipitina's controversy. Damn, I didn't even see that one. Hold up. Ponzi scheme. Okay, this right here has nothing to do. Oh, shit. Oh, okay, so Roland von Kurtanowski, this is from 2018. I don't think he does not own Tipitinas anymore. Now Galactic owns Tipitinas. And I don't know the full legalities of that, like if it's the band as a unit or if it's just Stanton Moore, if it's each members of the band. I don't know that. I just know in general it's promoted as Tipitina's as a galactic music venue now, and I never knew why, but this might be why. So this is totally separate from what we were covering. But what I got distracted by was in Google search results. It says Roland von, I can't pronounce this, Kurnatowski, the owner of the legendary music club Tipitinas, is at the center of a gathering storm. Metro editor Jerry DiColo notes that he's been sued by a handful of people, many of them elderly, who claim he persuaded them to invest in the fund that buys U.S. Treasury bonds and now is unable to return their money. One has accused him of running a Ponzi scheme. Von Kurtanowski says he'll make good on his debts, while acknowledging his storied venue may soon have new owners. Oh shit. Damn. I'll include a link to that. But yeah, I'll include a link to, since I had talked shit about the abortion fine and the Dutch House thing, which is one of the people that shit. Maybe I should try to link to that post. One of the people that New Orleans Red Dress Run claims to have donated to. You know what I'm saying? So we can see the type of yeah. So I'll add clicking random shit here. My bad. I'll add those two links for I'm gonna add this right here with this post for as long as their page and post is still up. You can look into and see where they donate their money last year, as well as this article, which is how I got from there to there, because Dutch House is one of the people they gave money to. And then in looking for that, for the Dutch House controversy, I also came across this Tipitina's controversy one, because Dutch House and controversy are both used up in this article, which is how that came up for the same results. And that's how I got to here. So I will also link this article in the description of the video. Um, But fucking yeah, so just to recap what we covered today, um, just to kind of marinate, let that recap. We reviewed a little bit of the first live stream we did on this, what was the problematic post, the general public perception. Then we did the update. The two biggest updates are that New Orleans fucking red dress run. They put their Facebook page back up, and they also changed their website, and they took off the offensive wording on the title, but they did not change where they basically brag about lying on their website. So yeah, those are the two biggest updates for why I'm marketing this as a follow-up update thing. Um, and fucking, yeah. And I'm here just to spread awareness on this information so you can make your own decisions for yourself in regards to value alignment. I'm not here to tell you how to feel for yourself. I'm just letting you know how I feel for myself. You know what the fuck I mean? Um, yeah. So we also did a review on how colonialism upholds capitalism and reflection to the first live stream we did where we showed how this formed as an evolution of colonialism. So yeah, let that all reflect, let that all marinate. I feel like I'm like on a plane that's now going down. You know what the fuck I mean? But yeah, so fucking I'm since I'm getting a little rambly, I'm gonna end this bitch. If I come back with another update, I will see if I can figure out some way to do like a timeline and make it a bit more objective if I can. So you can just have a clear understanding of what happened when to recap it if I can do a better job with that. But yeah, all right. Thanks for being here with me. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. And yeah, have a good night. Thanks for watching. You might want to adjust the volume after all of this because a loud music is going to play. So yeah, adjust the volume. And then if you're coming to these lives anyway, I do have a loyalty program, nolo.child.com/loyalty. If you sign up for my site as a member and you follow the check-in procedure, you can get points just for showing up to these lives anyway. So I just want to let you know about that. Yeah, about that. Yeah, I always have a really hard time saying goodbye because saying goodbye really just kind of feels like you're Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? Over here, just like welcome, Wilson. But anywho, yeah. So thank you for being here and goodbye.